Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Well, there's certainly no shortage of the pheasant back mushrooms out here. You can see here's one, and then one over here. They look really nice. And then just looking around here in the distance, that tree has a bunch, and then this log over here has a bunch. Take a walk over there. These look pretty big. Yeah, look how big that one is down there. It's got to be about 12 inches across. And this one looks like it has a bite out of it. And this one. And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh? I think it's time to go.
My best guess on this is that this was all a setup and there's somebody off hiding behind a tree or something in the woods, and the guy filming knows it's just his buddy making noises, because that sounds like a man-made yell or growl. But I thought this was funny. It reminds me of when I was a kid, my dad would take an old metal Folgers coffee can, drill a hole about that big in the bottom of it, find a rope that was also that same diameter so that there was actual resistance when you pulled it through. You soak that rope in kerosene, run it through the bottom of the can, tie a knot in each end so that it can't completely come all the way out. And you can hold that coffee can out facing towards someone, and when you pull on that rope, it sounds like a bear growling. It is awesome. But he used to terrorize the living crap out of us before we figured out that's what the noise was. He'd bang on the outside of the house and sound like there was a bear trying to get in. He'd have my mom telling us some bull crap about there was a escaped bear that come off a train that derailed or something in town. Good memories.
I think the possibilities are, endless. It's not quite in Tesla's primary mission direction of accelerating sustainable energy, but it is an extremely useful thing that we can do for the world, which is to make a useful humanoid robot that is capable of interacting with the world and helping in many different ways. So in factories and really just I think if you say like extrapolate to many years in the future, it's like I think work will become optional. Like there's a lot of jobs that if people weren't paid to do it, they wouldn't do it. Like it's not fun, necessarily. Like if you're washing dishes all day, it's like even if you really like washing dishes, you really want to do it for 8 hours a day every day. Probably not. And then there's like dangerous work, and basically if it's dangerous, boring, has like potential for repetitive stress injury, that kind of thing, that's really where humanoid robots would add the most value initially. That's what we're aiming for, is for the humanoid robots to do jobs that people don't voluntarily want to do. And then we'll have to pair that obviously with some kind of universal basic income in the future, I think.
My big problem with this whole robots are going to replace our jobs is that we're only valuable to the elites in the sense that we can produce income for them. We are workers and consumers. And if we're no longer the workers and we don't have the money to be the consumers, well, there's their reasoning for culling the population like they've wanted to do openly, like they've admitted publicly for over a decade now.
Do you see demons? Because they're talking about a condition where you can see demon faces in normal people's faces. Well guys, I found something crazy with this. I'm going to show you a quick video of explanation with it, but stick around for the end part because it's literally mind-boggling.
The weird stuff I love. Imagine your vision is totally normal, and then one day you see demonic features everywhere on people only, just like this, what you see behind me. Now that's a reality for a man named Victor Shera. He has extremely rare yet terrifying disorder called PMO, and it's commonly known as, or now known because people didn't know about it at first. It's called the demon face syndrome.
All right, stick with me because this is going to sound crazy, but I literally think they made up this condition. So when the eclipse comes and hits us with some sort of positive energy, and we can literally get our powers back, and we can see the demons and tell who's a demon and who's not, they want us to just think we have this condition. But here's the even crazier part. Remember the guy's name who they said has this condition? Victor Shara? Well, I plugged that name into the gematria calculator. There it is right there. Victor Shara gives a value of 1210. Now, watch what I found. Tell me if any of these stick out to you. A few of them stick out to me. Specifically, this one. But that's not the one I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about. If you watch any of my things, you know I like to talk about how they tell us and they put things in plain sight. Well, that wasn't as much in plain sight. I had to dig for it a little, but I literally thought something like that is what I would find, and it was right there. I don't know, guys. I think something big is coming. I really do. And I just have to say this, but of course this was all for entertainment purposes. I didn't mean a word I said.
I still can't grasp this gematria stuff. I've actually had a couple of viewers give me some really, what appears to be really great resources so that I can figure out what it all means. So I'm not going to comment on the gematria part of this, but demon face syndrome thing, this POP or whatever they're calling it, the idea that this is some new phenomenon that's popped up out of nowhere, and they've only, I think they said there's like 75 people that they've diagnosed with it so far. It's being reported on like it's this big new thing that people have to worry about, like, oh, you might get this, but there's only been 75 people diagnosed with it. So that part doesn't make any sense. It's interesting enough to become a news story, so it makes sense that it's being reported on, but the whole fear level, the fear factor of it doesn't make any sense unless they're expecting a lot of people to develop this, and then that's why they're reporting on it the way they are. So from that mindset, it would make sense that they're expecting a lot of people to develop this because it's not what they're claiming it to be. I don't know if that's the case, but it does seem super suspicious. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I make a new one just like it every single day. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me. You actually heard that the NASA job application process is a little bit different than what you would typically expect. I heard you have to submit a headshot and go to a casting call. I'm just kidding.
Did the government create Hollywood?
Now, why do you believe that Hollywood was created by the CIA?
First off, you guys do know that the Pentagon has a budget for film.
I know that.
That's a fact.
Candace Owens isn't lying here. The Pentagon has been making films in Hollywood for over 100 years, which is pretty much the beginning. The first silent film was made in 1910. And Candace tells us why the government's in the movie making business.
Because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with like World War films, like how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we commit overseas.
And they've made a ton of movies like Transformers, Iron Man, I Am Legend, Black Hawk Down, James Bond, Captain Phillips, just to name a few. It even goes further and says that more than 2,500 films and TV shows have been supervised by the military and Secret Service. But honestly, this doesn't even surprise me because anything that involves the military has to be approved by the Department of Defense, which means that the government has to approve the script before they can even get into production. It just makes you think. The government only puts out films they want you to see.
It's disheartening to hear how involved all these organizations are in keeping the narrative straight. You know, my biggest dream whenever I was growing up was I wanted to be a film director and make movies. And I actually got a scholarship, a full ride scholarship to go to Full Sail University in Florida, and I could have got my bachelor's in film in 18 months. 2 weeks after I got the notification that I had the scholarship, though, I met my wife. And fortunately, I was smart enough to stick things out with that because now we got 4 kids and it was absolutely the right decision. We're still together after all these years. Not always the best idea to put off furthering your education for a woman, but in my particular instance, it worked out, so no complaints here.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say, this right here is not a coincidence. Tonight we're having the lunar eclipse. In like 2 weeks there's gonna be a total solar eclipse. There's the sacrificing of the red heifers, and just in Arizona 2 days ago they see this, which to me, I look at this and I think about fallen angels or angels grouping together in the sky. The Bible says there'll be signs in the skies, and this is so obviously real. I'm gonna zoom this in so y'all can see it better and hear what the guy is saying. Pay close attention because these things are moving around. Like they're literal entities. Angels.
Hey, hands down! Bro, I know y'all see this. What the going on? This is in Arizona, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Sorry for hopping. What? I don't know what's going on. Look at all this stuff. You see this skies? They're circling. They're circling literally. Something. They are circling literally. They are circling literally. What is this? Somebody please tell me. I don't know what this is. There's something at the bottom too.
Y'all need to wake up because we are literally living in the end of times. Not just the end of times, but the end of times. We're about to see the tribulation. Like, I don't know what's so hard to believe about that. Like, you see this, you're gonna try to rationalize it, but you can't because the world is literally gone to hell and we have this stuff happening in the sky every single day.
Yeah, I can't rationalize that. This looks like it could potentially be a second angle of the video that was at the end of yesterday's video, where that it had the appearance of a comet or something entering the atmosphere and then breaking up, and then and then everything freezes and just floats there for a second, and then everything starts floating and moving around. This looks like it could be a second angle of that. Again, you know, not a lot to go off of. It's just lights in the sky. So clearly not a comet breaking up, though, because all those pieces would continue to fall. What it is, I don't know.
NASA hiding Planet X or Planet 9 from us? And if they are, why would they do that? 3 days ago, NASA came out and confirmed there is an 80% chance that Planet 9 or Planet X does indeed exist. This was based on some objects they found in space that were orbiting in such a way that could only be caused by a large planet. Now, they claim it's 10 times larger than Earth. This is the radius, and 1 year on Earth would take 10,000 to 20,000 years on this Planet 9, this hypothetical Planet 9. Keep in mind, NASA knows all this about this planet, but they don't know the exact location of it. That seems very suspicious to me, and the theory is they're not telling us the location of this planet because it's getting closer and closer to Earth every single year. Or the other theory is that Planet 9 is actually a black hole sucking things into it. That's why it's causing the orbital disruptions. I just find it awfully suspicious that we know all of this information about the planet, but we don't know where it's actually located. But see, I don't know. NASA lied about the moon landing, in my opinion, so what else are they lying about? What do you think? Is there a 9th planet out there? Is it getting closer, or is it just a massive black hole? Or is there nothing out there and I'm just wilding out?
We have no idea because NASA lies about everything. One thing that I find interesting about all this Planet 9 stuff, or this Planet X, is that it falls in line with the Nibiru Sumerian texts and this Planet X that supposedly got so close to the Earth that it made contact and broke it apart, and that's where we supposedly get our moon from. But it is suspicious that NASA's come out and said that there is this planet that they know about, and it's got all these, they have all these details about it and stuff, but they can't tell you where it's located. It sounds like they're trying to hide where it's located because they're worried about people panicking because they realize how close it's going to get to our Earth, and it could potentially hit us again. This is just a theory, and that could be the cause for all these bunkers being built. Maybe they're thinking that we're going to get hit by another planet and it's going to destroy everything, and this is their last-ditch effort to try to save themselves.
The sun visor is up, looking directly at the sun on the moon surface. His face is not protected. He would be blind immediately. His face would cooked up. Think of the radiation. He would glow in the dark, but he doesn't care. He's Superman. He's having fun and he's just looking right into the camera. Hello. But of course the sun is not a real sun. The sun is just a studio spotlight. Like here you can see they are going to dim the spotlight in the studio. Now you can see the edges here of the spotlight. This here is the antenna, right? Take a look what's going to happen. Now it's there. And then it's gone. It's back there. This is just the attachment of a wire. Just like here, this lady. Here. You cannot see this. Now you see the rope. Now she's jumping back. Take a look at this astronaut here at this back. Here you can see the wire. Right? It's going through. Here. That's the attachment. That's this rope which goes up to the ceiling of the studio. After they notice their mistake, they are going to zoom in so you cannot see this attachment anymore, right? Okay. Did you ever ask yourself, how is it possible to take so good pictures of the astronaut while their Hasselblad cameras are fixed and positioned on their chest like here? They're perfectly zooming in like they're on a film set the whole time. Although they cannot focus automatically, everything has to be done manually. without seeing through the camera because it is always attached to the chest like this here. And they got so many beautiful pictures. They took, and again, the sun, they got no sunglass here. It's so horrible. Dude, it's so horrible. Again, here the attachment of the wire. Now it's there, then it's gone. Goes all the way up to the ceiling. This here is a perfect example of the backdrop. That's not a frontline projection screen, that's just a backdrop, okay? Here is the line between the backdrop and the real stage. This here is the real stage, and this here, everything here above this line is just the backdrop. It's just a huge backdrop, nothing more. The stone is real, everything in front of this here is real, and everything behind this is just a backdrop. Okay, they use many different techniques back to the days. Frontline projection screen, they did a lot with this, but they also got backdrops like this here. Okay, that's the magic. So, have a nice day.
Another great breakdown of all the lies being peddled by NASA.
So you remember how everyone thought Coyote Peterson was super brave for getting stung by a bullet ant, right? This tribe makes him look like an absolute pussy. Because there's a tribe in the Amazon rainforest, they have a ritual called the bullet ant ritual, where they fill these gloves with bullet ants. And in this tribe, all 9-year-old boys must complete the bullet ant ritual in order to be considered adults in their tribe. So what exactly is the bullet ant ritual? Well, in the morning, the tribe will go out, collect the biggest bullet ants they find. They will pull back the smaller ones just to collect the bigger ones to enact as much pain. And then they fucking fill these gloves with them to stick your hands in. Mind you, there's like 80 of them in there. 80. And you have to survive it for 10 minutes. And if you cry or scream, your test is considered invalid and you must try again. It can take up to like 15, 20 times to pass this. 15 or 20. With your hands finding roommates with these little bastards. Fucking look at that thing. Like, you can just see in the look of his eyes, dude, they're waiting for this. They're waiting to put these kids through this because they knew they had to go through it, and they're like, oh baby, it's fucking your turn. And the reason it's called the bullet ant is because it has the most painful bite in nature. And I'm gonna be honest, I already knew I was a pussy, but then after seeing this, like, yeah.
Man, and I thought I had it rough growing up, having to mow the yard with a push mower. Woo! Much rather be doing that than sticking my hands into gloves full of bullet ants. Kind of makes you reevaluate the troubles of your childhood.
Oh my god, what is going on in the UK? Oh, I swear to God. If you're renting a house or an apartment, especially with a partner, you're probably gonna want to watch this video. So first of all, as I'm sure you're aware, there's been a lot going on in the UK recently. Lots of new crazy rules coming into place. Vape bans, well they didn't, they just had tax on them. Everyone's getting poorer. This is now the second most depressing country in the whole world apparently, according to statistics. Making kids study maths and English until they're 18. Like, where should we go? But now, for tenants, there are some new rules in place. Basically, you will not be allowed to have kids. So a lot of landlords, and there's been propositions from higher powers to make landlords enforce no sex tenancy clauses. So what does this mean? Well, this means if you sleep with someone in your own home, you could risk eviction and becoming homeless. So I've seen a lot of people who rent properties in the UK complaining about lots of things. Landlords just evicting them for no reason, having unstable properties which are just an absolute mess. Like, they can just kick you out for no reason. So now adding this is just another excuse for them to be able to kick you out. But the one thing I've got to ask is, how are they going to know? Is there cameras in the houses? But yeah, lots of landlords are now actually starting to implement this, meaning this is actually going to be a rule for some people. Don't even know what to say, to be honest, mate. But if you rent, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, hit that follow button and I'll keep you updated.
We've been seeing a lot of these weird new laws coming out of the UK here lately. What the heck is going on over there? It kind of seems like there's a new law suggestion box that they're just randomly pulling stuff out of. And yeah, we'll throw this into rotation. This will be a new law. You can't have sex in your own apartment anymore without getting kicked out. That doesn't make any sense at all. This is just absurd.
I was staying at home, and it was actually more profitable.
That video is absolutely insane. It's crazy. Go watch it. This is how the billionaires, how the people that control this world, this is how they think. You know, the pandemic was terrible because people were working from home. We were saving money because we weren't spending it, right? We weren't buying food. We were eating at home, and it was profitable for us. And that's bad. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to hear him just talk like this. And it shows you how we are not human beings, okay? We're not here to live our lives. We're not entitled to anything. We are consumers. You are here to consume. Oh, it's crazy, but I saw this video the other day. Listen to this. This is from Adam Smith, a very, very famous economist. Let me know if this sounds like anything going on to you guys right now. Anyways, Adam Smith says, profits are highest in nations on the verge of economic collapse. Profits are obtained by massively indebting the economy. Hedge funds, banks, financial firms, the entertainment industry, casino operators, they all make money, not by manufacturing, but by control of the economic rents. Lenders and credit card companies charge higher and higher interest rates to increase profits. They use their monopolies to gouge the public. It's crazy. I like to keep a pulse on the market, right? I pay attention to earnings when they come in for these public companies, and everybody's talking about how inflation is so high, and yet all these companies are having record-breaking earnings. Does that feel like gouging the public to you guys? I don't know. I don't like to do the whole fear-mongering thing. I don't like to be the guy that's like, we're all going to hell in a handbasket, the world's ending, yada, yada, yada. Because the thing is, the public is always wrong when it comes to these type of things. But I just have this thing inside where everybody's saying it's all good. You see people on the news, it's just like, we averted the recession. It's all good. It's all good. It doesn't feel all good. It doesn't look all good. I look around at everybody and it doesn't seem like most people are doing good. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this is all being done on purpose too. This is not, we didn't avoid the recession. It's the worst of it is yet to come. It's about to hit the fan. Hate to come off as a fearmonger myself or to seem like I'm, dabbling in hyperbole, but it definitely seems like the worst is yet to come. Things are going to get way, way worse before they get better, if they even do get better.
So a few months ago, I featured a creator, amateur astronomer Simon Tang, who goes by the name The Stupid Astronomer. But stupid, he is not. He built a backyard telescope that shows the sun in shocking detail, and the majority of the 4.7 million people who saw that video have never seen the sun like this before. But by far, the most prevalent comment that I received on that video is that NASA can't even produce what Simon is doing. And while I agree, NASA is not producing images and videos of the sun exactly like these, they are still producing what I believe to be equally impressive, albeit different, views of the sun. You can very clearly see high detailed videos of the surface of the sun, its solar flares, and the sun's immense magnetic field manipulating huge arcs of plasma that are absolutely dwarfing the size of Earth. So while these two are different, I see them as equally impressive. But if you think that Simon's are better, you should absolutely stop by his page on IG and tell him so. And while you're there, drop some likes for him and mention that Interstellar News sent you.
They are producing what I believe to be fake CGI images. I mean, the stuff that NASA's given us looks like computer-generated imagery, and then you look at this guy's stuff, it looks hyper-realistic. It looks like what you would expect to see from a telescope. I'm convinced that what the images are that we're getting from NASA aren't real. That's why his looks so much better, and that's why everybody's saying that NASA needs to hire this guy, because his images actually look legitimate. So that looks very similar to some of the crafts that we've seen that are supposed man-made, like government-made crafts and stuff. But I think it's interesting because it says that it was filmed in 2014, and that's one of the clearest videos I've seen of a unidentified flying object period, much less something that was filmed 10 years ago. You know, everybody's walking around with an iPhone 15 in their pocket right now, and all the video footage you get is still blurry as crap whenever someone catches something in the sky. So I thought that was interesting specifically for that reason. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you guys enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back with another video tomorrow like always. I hope you come back to join me. I hope everybody has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.